Hi there, Diane Michael from Universe Nudge and author of After Mom. Hope you're having a great day. Wanted to continue the vlog series, and I am hopeful that my words and thoughts give you some insight and possible thought-provoking opportunities for you to bring up memories of the past, forgive and heal, and then keep mom or a loved one's memory alive. Those are the three premises of After Mom, my book. So I like to keep in concert with that thought process. So I have been thinking a lot lately about me as a young girl. I just turned 40 last Friday, and it definitely has brought up a lot of thoughts, and I'm sure if you're 40 or above or getting near that age, you can understand and respect the way that the brain works and how we start looking at our past and our accomplishments and how does that fit in with mom. And so my situation, I was 10 years old when my mom was 36 years old, and she was diagnosed with breast cancer stage 4. So absolutely in 1990, very uncommon. There weren't these Making Strides Against Breast Cancer walks at the time. Avon hadn't even come out with the pink ribbon pin yet. So it was very traumatic. We were in a small town in Pennsylvania. And, I grew up basically from that day of diagnosis moving on. But I do a lot of thinking about that little girl at 10 years old and who was she and what were her dreams and what did she do on a daily basis. And it's something that I wanted to talk about with you today briefly, just about some things to consider going backwards to be able to really understand how you have shaped yourself and your soul through the years. So when I was 10, I was a writer, and great, I'm a writer now. So I, was a younger sister. I was a very responsible daughter. I always asked for forgiveness on anything that I ever did wrong, and that came from my mom. But I have done a lot of soul searching on my own on who was that little girl internally when she found out mom was diagnosed. And I will tell you, the day that I overheard the phone call, because she told my grandmother over the phone that she was diagnosed, and I was on the other line, so I had overheard what had happened. And what had happened was, I had overheard the conversation, and so I went to my bedroom and wrote a postcard to myself to send to myself so that I could mark down the day that I knew that my mother was going to pass away. Now that's too much for a 10-year-old. I have girlfriends that have 10-year-olds, and they're in no way, shape, or form thinking about that. So I feel really sad for that 10-year-old, how she turned into an adult immediately. So if you have a similar situation with your mom or loved one's death, where your life, there's a pause in the moment where you found out, so many of you, I feel I'm very blessed, so many of you don't have the time to process. It's just, a heart attack or aneurysm or car accident. I mean, these unfortunate sudden events, you don't have as many thought processes of you as a little girl or you when your mom or loved one was diagnosed. So think of who that little girl is if you did have that experience, and spend some time with her. I know it might sound weird, but really maybe journal, write down on a piece of paper with colored pencils, who was she? What was she doing? What was her favorite movie at the time? Did she go roller skating? Did she bike ride with her friends? What did the bike look like? Really go back to that little girl and see if you can spend time with her and see if and see what occurs, because I've done it and it's pretty magical. I've literally held hands with my younger self and kind of frolicked along, and I've hugged her and I've actually felt it. And it's we're little people inside, My previous business coach turned me on to a beautiful sculpture that I think was at Burning Man, and it was basically this huge wire sculpture of two human bodies with their backs towards each other, you know, like sitting with their feet up, with their backs towards each other, and you could see through the wire sculpture, and inside were two little kids touching hands. So it's like adults are, you know, back to back, and then the children are touching hands. And it's basically showing that we have our younger selves inside no matter what age we get to be. And so why not play around with that younger soul and see what comes about? I would also like to encourage you, for those that did not have the time, and for those like me that didn't have, I did get to say goodbye. I was 19. It was a month before I was 20 when my mom passed in 2000. And so basically I was 20. I have not spent time with that 20-year-old. So who were you when your mother died? And then how did you react in that first year? My mom died on a Friday, and I started my first career at the American Cancer Society on Monday. Her viewing was Monday. I went to work in a black suit, had to let everybody know that she passed, and also let them know that she said to me on Thursday, no matter what happens to me, you're going to work on Monday. So I totally had this therapy, if you will. I got to fight cancer. I got to fight what took my mother away that first year. So I didn't process a lot of what was going on, but I'm going through the process now of who was that 20-year-old girl, what was she doing. I see pictures of myself. I'm a baby. I mean, 20 years old, you're just a little cute baby. Well, I think I was a cute little baby, but you know, we're just little children, even at 20. And frankly, I still feel very young, and I feel very much like I'm growing and that I'm not an adult quite yet. I don't have kids, so there's that. I don't, you know, I'm single, so there's that. So, but anyway, process time if you have a younger soul that had a diagnosis or even a death, and then process the date of who you were at death. I'd be really interested to find out what comes up. I'm going through the process right now of talking to the 20-year-old because I've already done lots of talking to the 10-year-old, but I'm still, every once in a while, I still go back and I hug that 10-year-old little girl and let her know that everything is okay and that the universe is here to take care of her, and that it's, you know, we make it out all right. So I hope this gives you some thoughtful insight to consider, to really take time and soul search and see what comes about. See what your heart speaks to you, how your heart speaks to you, and I hope that this helps in some way. Lots of love to you. And for those that don't know, you can get my book, After Mom, on Amazon, or you can go to thecallengrp.com/shop. And as always, lots of love to you. Bye-bye.